At the beginning of the story, we see an RJ girl who used to narrate strange and eerie stories at night on the radio. This girl's name is Candy. Candy tells her listeners, first of all, that if you are afraid of hearing scary stories alone, then please turn off the radio. She says that you will not be able to sleep after listening to my stories. Candy was alone in her studio at night. She wanted to experience these stories like her listeners. She sees that a man named Jack has sent her lipstick. She also really liked this color. Moreover, he was also complimenting her voice a lot. She starts telling her first story by applying that lipstick. She tells about a girl who started living in a society where no one lived except her and her husband. All the houses there were identical, but all were empty. Earlier, that girl used to run a photography business, but now her business was also over. She did not have a job, but her husband still had a small job. But in that job, even though it was difficult, both of them managed to survive. That's why they had to live in such a place for less money. That girl living in that environment began to feel completely alone. There was no one around her. Only one day, when she woke up, she saw some foxes looking for food in her garbage. Watching them, she decided to go outside. So that girl starts taking pictures of those 12 foxes. She now enjoyed living with them. She thought that the life of these foxes was so carefree, and they didn't have any worries. She started living with them day and night and taking pictures. She felt like she had a connection with those foxes. Wherever she liked with the foxes, she considered her husband as her life. Day by day, as soon as her husband went to work, she spent her whole day with those foxes. One night, her husband looked at her camera. He was surprised to see that all the pictures were of foxes taken very up close, which was quite captivating. He asked her why there were such pictures on her camera and what had changed in her. Upon hearing this, she fled from her own house. It seemed like she was running like a fox. 4 days passed. The girl's husband searched for her tirelessly, but he couldn't find her anywhere. Her missing posters were also posted everywhere. So, who looked at her missing posters? After a few days, some foxes came to look for food in the garbage. Seeing them, the girl's husband came out. He tried to chase them away, but one fox remained. It stood its ground. When the girl's husband looked into its eyes, he was surprised to see that the fox's eyes were just like his wife's. After telling this story, Candy tells her listeners, "What do you think? Did that girl truly become a fox? Or was it just her husband's imagination?" After telling this story, Candy takes a break. During the break, Candy receives a call. The man on the line says, "I can see you. When you applied the lipstick I sent you, my name is Jack." Candy becomes scared initially, thinking that someone is following her. But later, she starts to believe that maybe her caller is playing a joke on her. She hangs up Jack's call. Then Candy tells another story, which is about a boy. Candy says that she believed he was trapped in another world. One day, while he was watching TV at home, he suddenly saw a masked man on his screen who was killing a girl. What surprised him was that the place he was seeing on his screen was his own house. He went to check his house thinking, "The house I saw is my own." However, when he arrived there, he found no one. Suddenly, the same girl from the TV appeared before him, along with the masked man who had attacked her. The girl managed to escape, leaving the boy with the masked man. The boy was then attacked by the man, but managed to escape into a room. He quickly dialed the police. After a while, he checked the screen again. The masked man had killed him, a boy just like himself. The boy was bewildered by what he saw on the screen. "I'm sitting here," he thought. "So how could someone kill me? Did I briefly enter another world?" He couldn't comprehend it. Now he had to unravel this mystery for the rest of his life. What had happened to him in those few moments? After narrating this story, Candy receives a call from Jack again. Jack tells Candy his story. He says, "One day I saw a very beautiful and famous girl at the bar. I liked her, but she took advantage of me. She drank the most expensive liquor in the bar with my money. After that, she made fun of me and ran away with her friends. It cost me 3 months' worth of earnings for just one drink. Candy listens to his story and says, "Oh, okay, so that day it was you. That means the girl Jack was talking about was me." After hearing all this, she apologizes to him. Jack responds, "No, I can't forgive you so easily. Now you'll have to pay for it." Then Jack's call ends. Following that, another caller tells his story. He recounts the story of a hospital where people believed that a woman could be seen at night. To investigate this, a film producer visited the hospital with his female employee. He intended to make a haunting and immersive movie there. The employee informs the producer that a nurse used to work there a century ago. She was locked in a room, constantly repeating, "I want my child." The producer was recording everything on his mobile phone. Then, the nurse broke the window glass and took her own life. While they discussed this, they noticed that someone or something seemed to be following them. However, they didn't pay much attention to it. The employee takes the producer to the delivery room and tells him that it's rumored that the nurse's child was killed shortly after birth because the doctors believed the child was unruly. As she narrated this story to the producer, she saw a picture of the doctor on the floor. Upon seeing it, she exclaimed, "The doctor in this picture is my grandfather." She said to the producer that this story might be true because her grandfather had never done anything wrong. Maybe they genuinely believed that the child was unruly. While the employee was recounting this story to the producer, they heard a baby crying. How could a baby be crying in a sealed room? They rushed to investigate, but all the doors were locked. Suddenly, a woman attacked the producer from behind, and the employee was terrified. "Who could be here?" she exclaimed. The attacker said, "I want my child." The employee realized it was the nurse's soul still haunting the hospital, and the rumors were true. She ran away. On her way, she encountered the nurse's soul again, who said, "Give me my child back." The room in which the employee was suddenly closed. Candy says, after finishing this story, "What do you guys think? What did the nurse's soul do to that girl?" Then Jack's call comes to Candy again. He says, "Your time is up now. Get ready for the punishment." Candy was very scared to hear this, so she immediately called the police. But Jack was already inside her studio. In one hand, he held a bottle of liquor, and in the other, he held an axe. Candy was terrified and locked herself in the bathroom. Jack was in pursuit. He said, "Candy, you can't escape me. Tonight is the night of revenge." He stood outside the bathroom and continued, "You tell stories to everyone, right? Well, I'll tell you a story tonight." Jack tells Candy the story of two sisters, explaining that they were both doctors and were on their way to visit their mother in another city. It was very late at night, so one of the sisters stopped to pick up something from the road. But when she got there, the store was closed. A car pulled up to the shop, and the other sister was watching from a distance. A man stepped out of the car, appearing very distressed. He placed her sister in the car willingly. She sees that a woman is bleeding and is calling for help. Seeing this, she gets very scared and immediately calls the police because she felt that the man was kidnapping her sister and taking her away. The woman who is in the back seat wants to kill her. She follows that man in the car. All her attention was on the phone. That's why her car collides with that stranger, because of which that man's car hits a tree. The branches of that tree break the glass in front of the car. Because of this, everyone died in that car. When she opens the door of that car and sees there was a small child in her sister's hand who was crying, here she understands what a big mistake she made. That man was not a kidnapper, but he was taking his pregnant wife to the hospital. He asked for help from his sister because she was a doctor, and his sister also went with him willingly. Then, after that, That man started going towards his sister, but the girl thought that the man was kidnapping her sister and that woman, taking them somewhere. He accidentally caused her an accident in which the whole family and her sister also died. Only her child was left. Jack, who was telling this story to Candy outside the bathroom, says that this whole story is true, just like that girl thought about that man without thinking about anything. Similarly, you did with me. He says that night you made a lot of fun of me with your friends. I earned 3 months in it. Now he warns him to come out. He says that now you will open the door and come out, or I will come in. He started breaking the door with a hammer. Candy was very scared of Jack's words. That's why she opens the door in fear. Jack had gone inside the bathroom. After a while, Candy comes out of the bathroom alone. She was sitting in the studio. Her face was full of blood. She comes on air and tells her listeners that today I am going to tell you the strangest and most dangerous story. We can see in the bathroom where Jack's dead body was lying. Candy had cut him into pieces with her axe. At the end, Candy is shown who says that this is a nightmare radio where strange and dangerous stories will never end. And with this, our story of this film ends here.